Nick, how impressive was D. Rose last night?
This was shocking. This was shocking, and for me as a basketball fan, it was thrilling. Last year, I sent out a tweet as someone had taken a picture of Derrick Rose in some high school gym in Cleveland after the Cavs have moved on from him, when he didn't know if his career was still coming, even though he had made over, between Adidas and the NBA, about $300 million, working out by himself, doing layup lines. And he was just trying to get another shot in the NBA. When Tom Thibodeau gave him a shot, we thought, okay, he coached him with the Bulls. The old Timber Bulls joke was coming because they kept bringing in old Bulls who weren't good anymore. And last year it looked like he was done. Looked like his body had betrayed him and he was done. And for him to have this moment, even if he never gets another moment like this, as a basketball fan, sports-wise was a beautiful thing. And the way he did it, he drove to the basket more last night than any player did in any game all of last season, according to Second Spectrum. He was relentless, he was vintage, and he was better than I thought his body was going to allow him to be ever again. It was a special moment from a former MVP.
Yeah, I watched this whole game, but I watched for a different reason. I watched to see what was going to be the effect of Jimmy Butler. Did he not play because his body was resting, or did he demand not to play because he's trying to get out of town? I wanted to see how Karl Anthony Towns, wanted to see how Wiggins, with this leadership being thrust on him and them being kind of the biggest part of the issue with Jimmy Butler there in Minnesota. But, man, it's come to find out that I ended up watching the Derrick Rose show. He was super aggressive. Now, physically, this is as good as I've seen him in a long, long time. And there were points last season when he played with the Cavs that, regardless of how much we like basketball, there were times we said he shouldn't be on the court playing. Like, he was not anywhere near an NBA player. Forget about being Derrick Rose. So see him last night be able to take over this NBA game and to be able to dominate it. And I really believe he will be in the conversation for a Sixth Man of the Year because you see his athleticism. He's got some range. Hit 4 3-pointers last night, distributing the basketball. And I thought it was really important, too, in the press conference right there. He talked about his shooting rhythm, that now he's discovered that typically shooting sometimes is like dancing. There's different beats when you do the tango, when you do other dances. There's different beats to those. So now a lot of guys in the NBA, they take the beats either off the dribble or they do a 1-2 count in their head. If they're going to be spot-up shooters, when they get it, they want to be able to shoot before a 1-2 count. So that's what he said. And still trying to learn the game at an older age, that, to me, is one of the most intriguing and exciting things, that he loves the game so much. And as you mentioned, in that high school gym, that's where he rediscovered his game. And that's what a lot of young players, they miss out on. Go back to the gym. Go back to the beginning. And that's what we saw with Derrick Rose.
I think some people, and we hear this in sports commentary a lot, just assume if you're rich, everything's great. And listen, I understand that having money makes life so much easier than not having money. But Derrick Rose, at some point, you get used to being rich. Like that you wake up rich, you go to bed rich. The money is not what was satisfying Derrick Rose. His entire life had been basketball. His entire life had been being great at basketball. And to have that taken from you prematurely because your body kept betraying you would have to be so torturous. He was 27 years old, and it looked like, who am I? What's my identity? And to have him have that moment, he had a great post-game interview. I'll retweet it in a second. He's crying. Yeah. I mean, he's crying because he's so overcome by
LeBron retweeted it, too.
Getting that really moment. People should go watch the full 2.5, 3 minutes. It's worth it. It's a really cool moment for him.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.